Hi everyone, this is Inês, and as I'm sure you all know, I love insects and I've been obsessed with making bug-themed decks for Pokémon, and I think I have found the perfect meta-breaking deck. I'm going to get right into it. There's going to be numbers, there's going to be deck lists, and then at the very end there's going to be some examples of battles, so that's why this video looks very long, but I am going to get into the nitty-gritty right away. What I think is the immense strength of this deck, it is very good against Darkrai and all of these dark types that are slightly weak to grass. It is pretty decent against most other decks, especially slow build-up decks. Think Palkia, think Charizard, because this deck builds up so fast, and the way it is set up, it is almost guaranteed to never fail. So let me go ahead and tell you now what's in this deck, what makes it so good, and some of the numbers that go into it. So first of all, what's special about this Beedrill deck? It's not just pure Beedrill EX. It is Beedrill and Beedrill EX. So there's 2 Weedles, your starters. Then you have 2 Beedrill from the original Genetic Apex. This one has 120 HP and does 70 damage, 1 retreat cost. 2 Beedrill EX, 170 HP, 2 energy to do 80 damage, and it gets rid of an energy. And then 1 Kakuna just for insurance, because it's just good to have that extra in between. Obviously, we've got the 2 Rare Candy, 2 Leaf Cape, 2 Professor's Research, 1 Cyrus, 1 Celestic Town Elder, 1 Red, 2 Lily, a Sabrina, and a Guzma. You might disagree with me on some of the trainer cards. Feel free to tweak those as what feels best to you, but I'm going to explain why this whole deck is the way it is and why I personally think it works really well. So this is going to be a little bit of a deep dive. First of all, Celestic Town Elder. You might notice that this is a single Pokemon deck. You have 2 Weedle and 4 Beedrills. Theoretically, you could play 2 Beedrills and then have a Beedrill EX, and then you could have them knocked out in that order, so that you can maximize your chances of being able to hit without the other side scoring points. Obviously, you don't always have a choice of which evolution you get, but the Celestic Town Elder means if you are in the unlucky situation where you do not get to evolve your Weedle in time, or one of them gets knocked out far too early, you can resurrect it from the dead. And chances are, if you are not getting your evolutions or the ability to evolve them because they're buried further down in the deck, then at the very least you will probably have encountered the Celestic Town Elder by then anyway, so it's still buying you time. So that one, absolute necessity. You might notice there's no Pokeball, because the one thing about this specific Weedle that we've put in is it puts 1 random Weedle from your deck onto your bench. This is super, super helpful. It means on the first turn that you have energy, assuming you're not evolving straight away into Beedrill to one-shot the other side, or if you're worried about it being taken out, it means that you can immediately put that Weedle on the other side. That's great for your deck, because it means you're not going to accidentally draw a starter, and therefore you're going to have a higher chance of getting the cards that you really want to have, and you have the insurance of having 2 Weedles on the bench. So if one of them is taken out, at least you have the other one. Secondly, this Beedrill. Why do we have this here? Well, first of all, sometimes you might encounter Oricorio. Oricorio cannot be hurt by EX cards, although I'll have you know the Beedrill EX, whilst it won't hurt it, it will take off the energy. So if you really don't have anything else, you can use Beedrill EX to blow off an energy off the Oricorio. So if it only has 0 or 1 on, it will never be able to get 2 in order to hit you back. So you could end up in a stalemate or use it to stall until you get the Beedrill you need. But you can't win the game with Beedrill EX on its own. So that's what this Beedrill is for. Also, with 70, it can actually one-shot Oricorio, provided it doesn't have a cape on it. Very good at one-shotting basics. You can see a situation where you start first. You don't get to put energy on your Weedle. Someone else comes out with a Litten. They might, actually, if they have Litten, they might almost burn your Weedle to death. But fortunately for you, you have Rare Candy and you pull Beedrill, and then you can immediately evolve, put on 1 energy, and it's KO'd. It's taken out right from the get-go. So very good if you really want to take a chunk of energy out from the get-go. Let's say instead you start on turn 2. Then, on turn 2, the first turn, you put your energy on your Weedle and you put your second Weedle onto the bench. And then you put Beedrill EX on the second one with your rare candy. And that's it. As long as you set up super fast, you're going to be blowing energy off the other person's side. So if they're a slow setup deck, they're just never going to be able to set up. What I really like about how fast this deck is, sure, some might make the argument that maybe its win rate isn't as high as Darkrai Giratina or some of the other meta decks with, all the godlike Pokemon, but it sets up so fast. You're going to know the result of your match so quickly, and most of the time, honestly, this deck does really well. I've made it to Ultraball using this with a 60% win rate, which I hear is pretty acceptable in the Pokemon world. And because it's so fast, you can climb a lot faster than with a much slower tanky deck where you're, just dragging the whole match out over, 10, 15 turns. With this deck, most of my battles are within the single-digit turn range. So it's over fast. A lot of the times people are conceding, or you're going to win, or it's pretty clear how things are going to go, so you don't waste time. And if you're winning, you're climbing faster. So it's a deck that is speedy, and I like that. Obviously, we have the Leaf Cape. Grass Pokemon have really, really, really good items. Leaf Cape adds plus 30, so this means that your Beedrill EX is going to have 200 HP, which puts it out of range of the vast majority of attacks, with the exception of some fire attacks. A lot of those fire attacks require energy to be replenished if you set up your Beedrill EX fast enough, which I know is slightly chance-based, but it makes it pretty strong and robust against those decks. Professor's Research obviously helps accelerate and draw your deck as fast as possible. Cyrus and Sabrina. So Sabrina's always very good at the start if you need to buy yourself some time. Like I say, the good thing about this deck is if you're getting the Pokemon cards and the right supporting items, then you're going to be able to evolve fast and the Pokemons are going to carry you by themselves. But if you're not pulling those cards at the start because you get unlucky, then at the very least your trainer cards that you have are going to help you stall for time. And I'll talk a little bit about that and the numbers in a moment. So, Sabrina, very good at just switching someone away who's annoying or disrupting the flow of their energy. Cyrus, helpful towards the end game. Obviously, we always like a red. Lilies are kind of a must for once you have your stage 2, probably by then it's encountered a little bit of damage and it helps keeping it up in the high range. And personally, I like Guzma a lot because it just always helps to take off those capes, to take off rocky helmets and things with status effects. Now, let's talk a little bit of math here. So what I really, really, really love about this deck is the odds of having a good starting hand are really good. So you start with 5 cards. One of them is your Weedle. Of the other 4, because of the way combinatorics and probabilities work, I'm not going to have the numbers on screen because I'm trying to make this be a pretty fast to make and edit video, but please trust me on this. I did do the math and I used a few combinatoric deck calculators. You have a 43% chance of drawing both an evolution, so one of the 2 Beedrills or one of the 2 Beedrill EXs, one of those 4 cards, and an evolving card, whether that be Kakuna or one of the rare candy. And this is why actually having the Kakuna in increases your odds of things going better. Also, even though Kakuna doesn't deal a ton of damage, String Shot and its 50% chance of paralyzing still means 50% chance of you not getting any damage at all that turn, which is actually extremely good. So you have a 43% chance of having both of those things in your hand from the start. That's a nearly 1 in 2 chance of being able to evolve by your second turn into one of the Beedrills. If you get this one, you're going to be hitting regardless of whether you had the energy advantage or not. But even if you get Beedrill EX, I mean, that's That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of HP. Even if you were to encounter an Oricorio, you can stop that Oricorio from getting the energy that it requires from hitting you back. So very useful in that sense. You also have, I believe, it's a 46% chance of drawing Professor's Research. So even if you don't get the cards that you need from the get-go, you'll have a high chance of getting a card that allows you to draw more. You also have a 74% chance of drawing one of the evolution cards, but maybe missing rare candy, so that might come afterwards, and a 62% chance of drawing one of the cards that helps you with evolving. So the odds are very good of having everything you need. But let's say you have terrible luck, and you're in that universe where your deck is not on your side and the evolutions are buried further into your deck. So you get your 4 trainer cards and you have to use your energy to get another Weedle. This is still good because you're taking that Weedle out of your deck. So the next cards that you're going to draw are a higher chance of being the ones that you would like it to be. So you still have very decent odds the following turn to either get Professor's Research or at least one of the cards that you need. Also, if you have those trainer cards, as mentioned, they're probably going to help you stall. So you might get a Leaf Cape, which will probably buy you an extra turn on a Weedle. You might get Celestic Town Elder, so if one of your Weedles becomes a fallen soldier, you'll be able to resurrect it. You might get Sabrina, so you might be able to flit someone away, and hopefully, by then, you'll have the cards that you need. So it's a very, very robust deck. It's a very, very robust deck. I've had a lot of fun playing it. I love how fast it is. And, you know, as a bug person, I'm delighted for the bee supremacy. Now, the rest of this video is going to be, first of all, some battles that I have streamed on Twitch, so you can see how this works, I know, against random standard opponents. And I'm also going to be doing a controlled set of battles against different deck types, just so you can get an idea of how this deck functions and have it commentated. Also, in the description, I have all of the deck information if you want to acquire this. And I don't usually say this, but I did put a bit of more effort into this video than other ones, so it's always appreciated if you can give it the watch time and a thumbs up. And hopefully this was helpful for you and you get to enjoy this deck. There we go. Another win for Beedrill. Bird to a cinder. There you go. Fire type is the type disadvantage. That would also help. Okay. That's okay. I feel if I'd kept better track of my points, I would have done things differently. Okay. There we go. And for good measure, okay. 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 2 wins against the Teeners. That was fast, and that was close. 1 Weedle against the world. Alright. See, this is what I like about this deck. GG's! I don't think we need the helmet. I think our girl Beedrill is over and done with. But anyway. Yay. Good job. And And that is everything from me. If you enjoyed this and you want to see more of me, feel free to subscribe, or you can catch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/JoCuriosity, where I go live 3 times a week and do a little bit of everything, amongst which is, of course, a little bit of Pokemon. All right, thank you for watching.